Hello, this is the Payne Report, episode 11, and before we get into the episode, I'm going to take care of a few little housekeeping things. First off, I want to mention is that this is going to be a wrestling hard-take episode. It's not going to be other sports, just going to be talking about wrestling. And it's going to be anything from storylines to what WWE is doing with certain superstars, what AEW is doing with certain superstars, indie wrestlers, go looking back at other things in the wrestling business, stuff like that. So that's where kind of that wrestling topic's going to go into. It's in an effort of just branching out and trying new things. Not really like new things, but like to talk about new things because I never really talked wrestling before. I have grown up watching wrestling. I'm very in tune with the business. I know what the business is all about. Yes, I know it's fake. I know it's scripted, but the bumps are basically, real. If you mess up, you can get seriously injured. Things like promos, those are scripted. Who wins is scripted. Everyone knows that. Basic knowledge there in terms of the wrestling business nowadays. Another thing I want to announce is that I'm going to make 2 more playlists. One will be the Payne Report where it's sports talk, and one will be the Payne Report where it's wrestling. So basically, to break it down, episode 11 right now is strictly a regular wrestling episode. You will not see it in the sports talk area. You'll see it in the Payne Report all episodes in the wrestling area, but let's say I don't talk wrestling until like episode 16, 17 or something like that. You wouldn't see another, you wouldn't see like 11, 12, 13 in the wrestling area. You would see 11, and then let's say I talk wrestling on episode 17, you would see 11, then it goes 17. I think that would just be a nice way to keep everything organized by topic, not necessarily episode number. I'm going to put obviously in the full playlist of all episodes where you can find all episodes, but that is where I'm thinking about that. Another housekeeping tool, go check out episode 10. I did my first interview. It's great. I like it. Like the good feel of the podcast there. So, go check out episode 10. It was a great episode. It was fun to record. And lastly, check out my Twitter at, I believe it's CP4227. I mostly just post Titan stuff. I'm going to try to talk more about the podcast. I don't like to be rah-rah about the podcast or anything like that, but I get you got to do that. And same thing with Instagram, PayneArcam4227 on Instagram. Anyways, what I'm going to be talking about in terms of wrestling content today is my favorite wrestler of all time, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is my favorite wrestler. I grew up watching Jeff Hardy. I really started following Jeff Hardy when I was literally 7 years old, watching him back in 2008. And when he won the WWE Championship, when he won the World Heavyweight Championship, when he went to TNA for that time period. Jeff Hardy's my all-time favorite wrestler. Whenever I watch Jeff Hardy matches, all will and willpower to stay calm and just analyzing it goes out the window. I'm a kid again. I'm cheering for Jeff Hardy. I want Jeff Hardy to win, and I'm upset when he loses. That's how that is my childhood favorite. But anyways, I want to talk about what the hell is WWE doing with him? I get it. Jeff Hardy is 43 years old, but Jeff Hardy recently just lost to Jinder Mahal on an episode of Raw, and as of the time of this recording, I have not seen him since. That pisses me off. I mean, Jinder Mahal, yes, he's a former WWE champion, but Jinder Mahal was never seen as a threat as a WWE champion. He was never seen as a legitimate WWE champion. No one thought of Jinder Mahal as being that world champion aspect, and it came true. The only reason why WWE put the belt on him was trying to basically broaden their audience in India, and that was during their India tour at the time, too. They brought in Great Khali. Great Khali has great pull in India, too. But it just didn't work. The fans did not like it. It was very much pushed down their throat. I remember at the time, Jinder Mahal beat Sami Zayn to be number 1 contender, and then Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton. I believe it was 3 times, and he beat Shinsuke Nakamura at SummerSlam. And then finally, WWE saw the writing on the wall that it was not working, and they quickly put the belt on AJ Styles on I believe it was an episode of SmackDown. And it was a taping in the UK. So my point was, Jinder Mahal should not be beating Jeff Hardy. Jinder Mahal is basically he's a former world champion, but he was basically booked as a jobber for most of his career. With that said, I get Jeff Hardy's 43 years old, but if you're going to use him as an enhancement talent, use him on the younger guys, because everyone knows you're not pushing Jinder Mahal again. Jinder Mahal is not going to be pushed to the moon again. He's probably not going to win another world championship, at least not in the WWE. So I just see it that way. he shouldn't be putting over Jinder Mahal. If you want to put over young stars, put over Keith Lee, put over Adam Cole when he comes up. Jeff Hardy can wrestle good matches still. I mean, he's 43 right now, but his movement in the ring is not the same what it used to be back in 2007, 2008. Hell, even when he was 34 years old back in 2012, when he was probably wrestling some of the best matches of his career at that point. But he's still popular among the casual fans. He's very popular among the hardcore fans. The fans that watched in the 90s like him because, he was part of the Attitude Era. You got fans like me who grew up watching him, fan favorite. I mean, at the time, I'm going to take him... Before I get more into this, I'm going to take you back to the time when Jeff Hardy was basically on his rise back in 2000, I believe. I'm going to start kind of where he came back in 2007, where it was at that point. But at the time, in 2007, 2008, he was actually giving John Cena a run for his money in terms of merchandise sales. John Cena was a top at merchandise sales. Jeff Hardy was around 1 or 2, kind of flip-flopping with John Cena. Every couple months, every couple weeks. That's how it was going. So that was the popularity of Jeff Hardy to that point. He came back, I believe it was in 2006 after one strike with the substance abuse policy. At this time, Jeff Hardy made good runs at the Intercontinental Champion. Right before WrestleMania 24, I believe. Yes, WrestleMania 24. He had his second run-in with substance abuse policy. He dropped the IC belt to... Not the IC, the Intercontinental Championship, IC, whatever you want to call it. A belt to Chris Jericho. At that point, he was actually supposed to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. He was scheduled to win that, but WWE had to pull him because of the substance abuse issue there. So that he was kind of on rocky waters at that part. But and a lot of the fans didn't like it either. I mean, they wanted to see the guys succeed, and then it just didn't. They were very angry, and I mean, I don't remember. I was like 6, 7 years old at the time. I didn't really start remembering Jeff Hardy until right when he went crazy on that SmackDown episode and started hitting everyone with a steel chair. He was tag matching with Triple H. He beat up John Morrison and The Miz with a steel chair, and actually threw the steel chair running Morrison out of like the stage ramp area. That's where I kind of start to remember that kind of storyline with Jeff Hardy. But anyways, at that point in 2008, he started to... In 2008, when they were building him, not 2008, 2007, he was starting to like hold his own. I mean, we saw it in the match with Randy Orton. He was holding his own. He was going blow for blow with Randy Orton. Wasn't seen as this mid-card guy, kind of pushing as a top star. Then he has that fallout with substance abuse policy. And then going into 2008, he didn't have it. He had the 2007 match with Triple H, went blow for blow. And then 2008 was Royal Rumble. He went blow for blow with Randy Orton, really good. Substance abuse policy, bad. Then he gets drafted to SmackDown in that July of 2008. And this is when Jeff Hardy started to get pushed as a main star. If you don't know at this point, basically the three like main stars on SmackDown, like the big name stars that WWE was probably going to push, were going to be Triple H, Edge, Jeff Hardy. Those were the three main guys to that point. So in the summer 2008, Jeff Hardy drafted to SmackDown, and Unforgiven is where Jeff Hardy really makes an impact in the championship scramble. First of all, I was rewatching this match. I was rewatching some of these matches just to kind of get a flow. And why was Brian Kendrick in this match? He was annoying. That's what I'm saying. But, Jeff Hardy got the pin around 3 times. He got the pin around 3 times. Was WWE Champion for 3 times in this match, but ended up losing at the last second. And I remember just watching it, and I was like, all he had to do was break up the pin with Triple H and not go for the cover on Shelton, and then he would have been champion. I was like, on the edge of my seat, even though I knew the outcome. This was great booking by WWE, by the way. This is great booking, great natural booking, great organic booking. Where like, I want this to happen. Next pay-per-view, No Mercy. He beat Triple H at the time in a fan vote for who they were rooting for. This is like back, you text it in your fan vote. Who were you rooting for in a big match whenever WWE promoted it? And he beat Triple H. Triple H pretty popular star at this time. 72% to 28%. That's huge. People are behind Jeff Hardy all the way. Went blow for blow with Triple H. He ended up getting rolled up, so more great booking there. Cyber Sunday, kind of the same story. Jeff Hardy won this vote in terms of who would Triple H face. Would he face Jeff Hardy, Vladimir Klozov, or both of them? He won 57%. If it was 38% for a triple threat match and 5% for facing Klozov. Anyways, Jeff Hardy went blow for blow again, got caught on the top rope pedigree. Great booking again. And then kind of weird booking there at Survivor Series, but and I think importing Edge in that feud there was smart. It gave Hardy even more legitimacy. Him causing a chair shot for Triple H to lose the title was great, and the fans were clamoring, "We need Jeff to win." It was like not I want Jeff Hardy to win. It is I need Jeff Hardy to win. That was the feeling of what I was watching, because I went back and watched some of these pay-per-views. And then going to Armageddon 2008, I watched this match. I've seen this match probably 100 times already. And I watched it again, and I was on the edge of my seat each and every time. Every time Jeff Hardy was out of the ring, when Triple H hit the pedigree, I was like, no! And then Vladimir Klozov pulled him out, and then Jeff's about to go on the top rope, and then Klozov, and I'm like, why? And then, I believe it was right at the ending, too. Jeff Hardy gets, the ropes get knocked, he falls on the turnbuckle, and you're like, why? Each time he's this close, and then he hits a swanton out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Everyone's celebrating. Everybody's happy, and we know the rest after that. He drops the belt to Edge, and I believe the 2009 Royal Rumble with Matt Hardy turning heel. They had a great they had a really good feud. I like that feud, and ironically enough, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the pay-per-view where it ended. They had a great WrestleMania match, even though Jeff Hardy took the pin, but he won the next pay-per-view, an I Quit match. And then we go into the summer of 2009. Jeff Hardy's in world title contention. He wins number 1 contendership to face Edge. They have an extreme. They have a ladder match at Extreme Rules. Jeff Hardy wins. Everyone's happy, and CM Punk cashes in, and this was a really good feud. It tremendous booking again. This was tremendous booking by WWE. So you get this, basically Jeff Hardy's a big babyface star at this point. You want to build CM Punk up. Okay, he won the Money in the Bank the year before. Didn't really work out with his first title run. But, but you want to bring some legitimacy to CM Punk? Let's use Jeff Hardy. That's smart. So they have a great feud. Jeff Hardy wins the championship back at Night of Champions. I believe he holds it for around 2 weeks, loses it at SummerSlam. Jeff Hardy's done with the company. At this point, Jeff Hardy was at the peak of his popularity in terms of what I believe in WWE. He was the peak of his popularity when he left the company. I mean, when he lost that night on SmackDown to leave the company, that was how they wrote it off. I was a young kid. I was in tears seeing that. I was so sad. And then I thought... I didn't understand at the time that there were other wrestling promotions and that Jeff Hardy would show up in TNA, but I thought, I thought I would never see my favorite wrestler on TV ever again. And then he shows up on TNA, and I'm not kidding, I only watched TNA to watch Jeff Hardy. That was all I did. And I watched up to the point, around towards, right before the Victory Road. I stopped watching TNA at that point. It was kind of just sucked to that point. I didn't like the heel turn with Jeff Hardy. I think that was a bad idea, but peak of his popularity as a babyface, and then TNA turned heel. I think that was a bad decision on their part, bad booking there. So Jeff Hardy's like this megastar. He helps build TNA to this quote unquote war with Raw on Monday night. Didn't really work, but if you're gonna build a star, they should have just kept Jeff Hardy face. But he served his purpose. Big name, big star. Peak of his popularity to this point. And then the 2011, I believe it was Victory Road incident happened. He came out high in the match against Sting. Bischoff then came out, told Sting, and said, drop him, death drop. Told the ref fast count. That's what happened. And then we didn't see him for a while. We didn't see him, I believe, it was a couple months after that. He came back, cut a promo saying he was pathetic, he was sorry, and it took some time to get that trust back, but he started putting on, in this match, from after the Victory Road incident in 2011 to about 2013, when he had his second TNA World Heavyweight Championship run, Jeff Hardy was wrestling some of the best matches ever. I wasn't watching TNA at this time. I went back and watched these matches. These were some great performances from Jeff Hardy. It truly showed that underdog story, that redemption story of I need to get back, I want to be trusted again, give me one more shot. And he took it, he ran with it. I liked the kind of storyline, the booking. A great match with Austin Aries at Bound for Glory. Won the World Heavyweight Championship there. It was great. And he was wrestling amazing matches. The one match that really stuck out in my mind, there were a couple, but two of them really did. The ladder match against Austin Aries when he hit the Twist of Fate on the ladder on the turnbuckle. That was cool. Okay. And the elimination three-way match between him, Bobby Roode, and Austin Aries. Those performances, those matches Jeff Hardy put on from that time span when he won the title to when he dropped the title were some of the best matches I've ever seen out of him. And they were amazing. And it sucks that it was wasted in TNA, basically. To that point, after he drops the title, feuds with Aces and Eights. To that point, turns into Willow. Feuds with EC3, Rockstar Spud, then comes back as Jeff Hardy, has another run with his brother against the Wolves and Team 3D, and then he goes into I can't remember to this point. This is when I started really watching TNA again. Was right before Matt Hardy went broken and the whole Broken Universe happened. But to my point, and another thing too, Jeff Hardy embraced that brother Nero role of his in the Broken Universe, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Like going through the ring saying, "I'll classify myself as obsolete." Matt Hardy referring to him as his middle name, will only refer to him as his middle name, Nero. That was awesome. Calling him Brother Nero. I knew you come. He would say stuff like that. It was amazing, and it was awesome. It was literally this brought eyes back to TNA. TNA was dying. And they were almost sold to Billy Corgan. This is how bad they were. They were basically bankrupt, about to be sold to Billy Corgan, lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. And Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy brought TNA back from the dead. And it showed. And it got me interested in other parts of the show. Eddie Edwards and Bobby Lashley had a great feud. Drew Galloway, now Drew McIntyre in WWE, with Bobby Lashley. Great. Bobby Lashley was doing great, too. I liked it. The women's division there was great too. Gail Kim was awesome. Mia Yim was awesome. Decay was a cool tag team. I liked it. And it was fun. And the whole final deletion and the Great War with Decay was awesome for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And then they had that amazing match with Young Bucks and they come back to WrestleMania. They were so over. And WWE killed it. WWE killed it and it makes me mad. And that, they had issues with Anthem wrestling over the property rights of the broken gimmick, but they just gave it time and kind of played that tweener of them being broken and not broken a little bit more time when Anthem Sports finally gave the rights to Matt Hardy. They really were going to have something special. Like, I was imagining just seeing this in the big stage, WWE, what the Broken Universe can do, and it didn't work. And it made me sad. Vince didn't like it. Vince killed it. They were bearing it on commentary with Michael Cole when Matt Hardy did go broken, although they said he was woken, and it wasn't the same. He had the final deletion with Bray Wyatt, but it just wasn't the same. It really wasn't. To that point, but this is becoming more of a rant on bad booking WWE. This is where I'm coming back to, though. Right now, Jeff Hardy is 43 years old. I think Jeff Hardy can have one more quality world championship run in him. And when he's held the world championship in the past at WWE, he hasn't held the title for long. The longest he's held the belt, a world championship in WWE, was a WWE championship when he went from Armageddon 2008 and lost the belt at 2009 Royal Rumble. He held it for a month. And I think the fans want to see, not majority of the fans, but the fans that grew up with Jeff Hardy, the casuals would like it, the hardcore fans would love it, and especially me growing up watching Jeff Hardy, fans like me watching him, when we grew up watching him, looked up to him, being our favorite wrestler, want to see at least a good run, one more run. Make it a decent run. Hold the belt for 3 months, 2 months, at least longer than a month for once. Like, I just want to see a good. Imagine all the matches he could have. If he wrestled Adam Cole, put Jeff Hardy in NXT. That would be cool. Just have him wrestle Adam Cole, Finn Balor, to name a few. Those would be fun matches to watch. So this is gonna bring me into my next little part. They are ruining Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy, he's got the face paint. I believe it's rumored right now that they're gonna bring back his theme music, No More Words, when they have crowds back in the arena. That was part of the stipulation of re-signing. But as you can see, no one in WWE is safe right now with the release of Braun Strowman and Aleister Black, Lana, the few marquee names that got released recently. So no one in WWE is safe from getting released. But I'm going to lay down a situation for 3 ways we could see Jeff Hardy go in WWE. And I'm just going to start off with the most likely one. He's probably going to get released. And that kind of breaks off into 2 little mini areas. The first one would be he would go to AEW and reunite with Matt Hardy, and they feud in the tag team division, and likely that would be it. That would be it for Jeff Hardy's career, and they'll kind of just come to a sad end at that point. Or I could see him not going to AEW and not wrestling at all and focusing on his band, his music. If you don't know, Jeff Hardy does have a band, Paroxygen, and I can see him totally just focusing on music, art, his family, his kids. He does have 3 kids, I believe, and I could totally see him doing that too. That's a realistic option too. Second one, Jeff Hardy comes back when there's a reason maybe we're not seeing him right now. Maybe he comes back as the charismatic enigma. The face paint, No More Words comes back when there's crowds in the stands, when WWE's traveling again, when there's fans. We hear No More Words hit. It's basically be this big episode on Raw where it's like the fans are finally back in the stands, and it's like this big episode. There's at least some fans in the stands now, real fans. They're in a new city, not the Performance Center or the Thunderdome, and there's fans, and all this fun stuff. And then you hear, Jeff Hardy's music hit, No More Words hit. Starting out the show, here comes Jeff Hardy, No More Words, face paint. Here he comes, opening the show, wins the match. Great. That would be awesome. Put him with Seth Rollins. Have him and Seth Rollins open up. That would be great. Seth Rollins is a good wrestler. He's a good technician wrestler. Seth Rollins is just a good wrestler overall. I think him and Jeff Hardy, that would be a good match to open it up. Kind of just be like this celebration. Don't even have Vince McMahon come out, welcome, and all this and that, because they did that at WrestleMania. Just be like, ladies and gentlemen on commentary, it's so great to have fans back in the stands. We welcome you as we're finally getting back to a sense of normalcy here in the WWE. And then No More Words hits, and then Jeff Hardy's, comes out and he says, it is great to have the Creatures of the Night back. That's what he referred to as his fans in TNA, but it would be great if he called them that too. And it's like, let's get a match going, And then they're all hiled. Here comes Seth Rollins. They have a great match. They tear it down. Maybe Jeff puts Rollins over, or Jeff Hardy wins the match with a roll-up or something. That would be awesome. I think that would be great. And then they just roll with Jeff Hardy from there. He's got some momentum. He opens up the show when they're finally getting some normalcy back, and just roll with it. Maybe put the U.S. belt on him or something. Have him run with the U.S. belt. Maybe have him go and build up the IC belt some more. Heck, if you want to put him up against Roman Reigns, that would be fun. Wouldn't that be cool? Roman Reigns be like, I'm the top dog now. You're past your prime. You were you were an old guy. He's like 43 at this point. He point that out. Would be like, you're past your prime. I'm in my prime. I'm the top dog now. You can't do nothing about it. And he'd be like, I'm a real champion here. There's a reason why I've held onto this belt for this long, and why you haven't held onto a belt longer than a month. That would be great. Imagine that, just Roman Reigns pointing out everything, wrong booking decision they did with Jeff Hardy, and mentioning his age and everything, and maybe even go into some of his past and be like, oh, every time you were given that shot, you ended up screwing it up, referencing the substance abuse policy issue he had back in 2008 before WrestleMania when he was slated to win Money in the Bank. He can bring up that backstage politics. That would be great. That would be an amazing feud. I would love to see that. He doesn't have to win the world title, but put him something interesting. Jeff Hardy can help boost the talent, and now this is the one where I kind of like this one. He can help boost talent, but I'm gonna list out the last scenario, and this is what I like. It's not my favorite one, but I think it would be cool. We haven't seen Jeff Hardy since his loss to Jinder Mahal, and if they want to roll with this, you got to do it right. And what I think is that in the next couple weeks, they bring him back on TV. He loses again against some jobber or Jinder Mahal, against somebody you wouldn't think Jeff Hardy would lose to. Kind of just loses again, and then he gets put into like a tag match with somebody, against one of the top heels on Raw. I haven't watched Raw in a bit, but one of the top heels on Raw who they're feuding with. He gets beat down. He takes the pin. He's the one losing the match, and then it's kind of like this moment of where he's just sitting in the ring, kind of similar to what he did with Sting when he turned into Willow back in 2013. If you get where I'm going with this, and you can see he's just fed up. He takes off his armbands. He takes maybe a towel from outside the ring and he just wipes off his face paint and just puts his armbands in the middle. Maybe takes off his shirt, puts it in the middle, wipes off some of that face paint, leaves a rag in the middle of the ring, and just walks out. Doesn't say anything, just walks out. And then they start producing Will-O-the-Wisp vignettes. Jeff Hardy owns this property to this character. I know WWE doesn't want to put like a Jeff Hardy's face behind a mask, but I think it would be very interesting if you don't want to put him behind a mask. He can at least do Willow face paint, because Jeff Hardy whiz with face paint. I'm just saying that. I think that would be very interesting. Kind of just book these vignettes of Will-O-the-Wisp coming to WWE now, and just whatever. And then he comes in some big like Elimination Chamber match or something, or a Hell in a Cell match, or Triple Threat match, or have him come to Survivor Series when it's SmackDown versus Raw. Team Raw person, one of the Team Raw peoples gets attacked backstage by like Team SmackDown, who they see as a big threat. Maybe be like the leader or the captain of Team Raw. He gets attacked, can't compete, and then we see the vignette of Willow, and it's like Willow doesn't like this injustice or something, maybe like that, and he comes out and he goes out and he helps Team Raw win the Survivor Series match against Team SmackDown, something like that. That would be cool, and then you can throw him into a feud with The Fiend, if they bring back The Fiend, because we haven't seen The Fiend since WrestleMania. That's another thing, we haven't seen The Fiend since WrestleMania, so bad booking decisions here from WWE. I mean, Jeff Hardy's still an established star, he's still a big name. Just give him a shot. If you can book Jeff Hardy right, it will pay off. I mean, we saw it before. Even though he had that substance abuse issue back in 2008, he got booked right in that summer, and he took off in popularity, and it was amazing. And I was a little kid at that point. Like, Jeff Hardy was my favorite wrestler. I was, like, not kidding. It was, like, he needs to be champion. He's, like, the best thing. He's, like, awesome. He's cool. He's got this cool look. And that's the thing, another thing. Jeff Hardy still has that cool look. He's got the face paint. He's got the attire. He's got these armbands still. He's got that cool, like, whenever he wears a long sleeve, he's got that cool, like, designs on the arms. He's got the cool tattoos. He does cool moves, twist face, swanton bomb, whisper in the wind. He's this daredevil still. Although I think he should slow some of that down. That way he can at least prolong his career at least 1 or 2 more years, hopefully. I mean, I know that may sound a little bit selfish, but I don't want to see my favorite wrestler retire, and it's kind of sad when I think about it. But it's sad. It's hard seeing your favorite wrestlers retire. I mean, Edge was a name when he retired back in 2010. Daniel Bryan a couple years ago when he was forced to retire, but then he came back. So it sucks seeing your favorite wrestlers retire. Everyone knows that. But I think just do something with him. If not, just then release him, okay? At least it'll be done and over with. Just, I want to see Jeff Hardy have at least one more run of something, whether it be a feud. Maybe I really want a championship run. That's what I would love. I would love one more shot, one more championship run, and just see what he can do. Help elevate young talent. Hell, he could probably win the WWE Championship, then drop the belt to Adam Cole in like that SummerSlam. Have him literally. They can book that. They could book that if they played their cards right from next year. They could have Jeff Hardy win the belt at like WrestleMania or something, and then drop the belt to Adam Cole in SummerSlam, and it would be like this Adam Cole. It'd be like this third match or second match against Adam Cole, and Adam Cole raises the stakes of like knowing something Jeff Hardy can't turn down, and be like Jeff Hardy like I already beat you, man. Let's say he faces him in one of the summer pay-per-views the month before SummerSlam. He faces Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole's like, if you lose this belt, you leave the brand, or you're done, or your career's over, something like that. Or maybe not career's over, but more like you leave Raw if he loses against Adam Cole. So like loser leaves Raw, and the winner is the champion of Raw, basically. So they could book that. That would be cool. Imagine Adam Cole, Jeff Hardy wrestling. I think that would be a fun match to at least watch. Something. Or Johnny Gargano and Jeff Hardy. Hell, throw Jeff Hardy. I mentioned it earlier, but throw Jeff Hardy in NXT. What if Jeff Hardy wins the NXT Championship? That would be kind of cool. Or he can elevate the North American Championship. Do something. Like I said, he can do something. I think it would be cool to see Jeff Hardy versus Finn Balor. That would be a fun match. I don't know who the NXT champion is right now, but imagine Jeff Hardy in War Games. He climbs to the top and does a Swanton Bomb. That would be cool. Let's see. You can do stuff with Jeff Hardy. You can take him to NXT. It will help, I believe. I don't know. I heard AEW moved to Friday, but I'm not sure that is. I didn't know if they shifted the show to Friday for, I believe it was last week or not, or if they're keeping it on Fridays. But it can help NXT, because NXT is kind of, it's not the same without the fans. They're kind of lacking in story right now. It's just not the same. But it would be cool. Just do something with him at least. But this is all I have today for wrestling talk. Next thing for wrestling in terms of topics that I'm going to talk about is the Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. I'm going to talk about their build-up to WrestleMania 25 and that match, and then their build-up to WrestleMania 26 in that match, and how it was probably those two greats, probably all-time performances we've seen from them in general, working together. I mean, I watched the WrestleMania 25 match this morning, and the call, everything about it was awesome. Jim Ross saying, "I'm having an out-of-body experience." That was so cool. But anyways, that's what, look for that in the next couple episodes. Yeah, so this is all I have for today's episode. I hope you liked listening to the episode. I mean, you can hit the like button on the episode if you want. You don't have to subscribe, but at least kind of just share it, help get it circulating. But anyways, this is all I've had today, so thank you for listening.